she always left her laptop open, never caring much about privacy. I never cared either. Trust was supposed to be the quiet agreement between us, the invisible bond that didn't need reminders. For years, that bond kept me anchored, even when the silence between us grew heavier and her smiles became shorter. But one night, while she was asleep beside me, her screen glowed faintly across the room. It wasn't curiosity that made me get up, it was instinct. The kind that whispers something's wrong, even before your mind can name it. I walked over, meaning only to close the lid, but a single subject line froze me in place: "You were amazing last night." My breath caught, my heartbeat roared in my ears. I told myself it couldn't be what it sounded like. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it was work. Maybe anything. But my fingers, trembling despite every ounce of self-control, clicked. What I read burned through me like acid. Messages, not one or two, but weeks of them. Hidden threads of passion and deceit, written in her words, her tone, her warmth. Words I hadn't seen from her in months, words that once belonged to me, now freely given to someone else. I read every one, each line peeling away another piece of what I thought we were. There was laughter, plans, hotel bookings disguised as business trips, even confessions about how she felt alive again with him. And then, the one line that shattered me completely: "He's so predictable." He'd never check my emails. I didn't confront her right away. The next morning, she woke up, stretched, kissed me on the cheek, and asked if I wanted coffee, the same woman who had written about another man's hands just hours before. I watched her move around the kitchen like nothing had changed, and in that moment, something inside me broke quietly. I realized words wouldn't fix this, and shouting would only stain the silence further. Instead, I played along. I smiled, I nodded, I asked about her day. And while she spoke, I studied her, every blink, every gesture, every false laugh. That evening, when she left for her meeting, I logged in again. I read everything. I read until I couldn't see through my tears. There were no signs of guilt in her writing, no hesitation, no second thoughts. Just comfort, the comfort of a woman certain that her lies were safe. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling, wondering how something so pure could decay so quietly, how someone you share your life with could become a stranger living under your roof. By morning, I had made a decision, not out of anger, but out of clarity. Love cannot survive in the shadow of deceit. I opened her laptop one last time and sent a single message, to both of them. It wasn't rage-filled or poetic. Just 5 words: "You can have her now." Then I packed my bags. There were no tears left to shed, they had all dried up somewhere between disbelief and acceptance. When she returned home and saw my side of the closet empty, she called my name like it still held weight. But when she found the letter I left on the table, she went silent. I didn't wait to see the reaction. Some endings don't need witnesses. That night, I checked into a small motel on the outskirts of the city, cheap room, flickering lights, but the kind of quiet that lets your thoughts bleed out freely. I stared at the ceiling for hours, remembering the sound of her laughter, the way she used to fall asleep with her hand on my chest, the promises we once whispered in the dark. And then, like slow poison, those memories turned into reminders of how easily she erased me. But pain has a strange way of cleansing, it strips away illusions until only truth remains. In that truth, I found something unexpected: peace. Not the easy kind, but the kind that comes after the storm, when you realize survival is its own form of victory. I didn't hate her anymore, I pitied her. Because while I lost a partner, she lost something far greater, the version of me that loved without condition. Over the next few weeks, I rebuilt my silence. I moved into a small apartment, started going to the gym again, reconnected with old friends, and began writing, not emails, but thoughts, letters I'd never sent, each one releasing a little more of the weight she left behind. Sometimes, late at night, I'd still wonder if she ever missed me or regretted it. But then I'd remember her words: "He's so predictable." Maybe I was. Maybe I loved her too blindly, trusted too completely. But if being predictable means believing in honesty, in loyalty, in love that doesn't need passwords or proof, then I'd rather stay that way. Because the truth I found in her inbox didn't just end our story, it began mine. And though she thought I'd never read her emails, she never realized what I'd really find there, not betrayal, not heartbreak, but the strength to finally let go. Did this story touch your heart? Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more hearts can feel these stories too.